everybody, welcome to the first Heart of the Swarm beta replay that I was able to get my grubby little mitts on. And without really much further introduction, let's go ahead and introduce our players. Spawning up here in the top left hand corner of Alkaline Wastes, or Kihlir Wastes, I forget, I'm sorry, we have Killer. Spawning as the red Terran pieces, and his opponent, I'm grateful to him for sending this in to me. Spawning as the blue Terran pieces, we do have NocFreekz Freekz. Like I said, Freekz was nice enough to send this replay in to me today to get casted. I made a call out to some friends at the MSU Hive Mind for replays. I did actually end up with a couple of them, trying to get them casted today to see if I can get everything out for you. This week is going to be a little bit chaotic. Today is President's Day, so I will more than likely be casting quite a bit today and then not so much through the rest of the week. So for those of you who look forward to this, I'm sorry. For those of you who don't, well, then I guess you have one more thing to be thankful for. So as you can see, this is, like I said, in the Heart of the Swarm beta. We do have the worker count tab up above each command center. Very, very helpful. I was really skeptical about that at first, but it turns out it's a really nice feature, as is auto split. I don't know if you were paying attention when everything started, but we did have an auto split of workers. Very, very helpful, handy stuff by the good folks over at Blizzard. So with that, Freekz dropping down his first barracks. His opponent is doing the same. Freekz sent me the message with this that, you know, this was a fairly good TVT game. He tried to discuss it with me a little bit over lunch a couple of days ago. Don't exactly remember what came of it, so we're going to have to see what happens here. Freekz not actually going to get a scout off. The supply depot is put down beforehand, and now mind you, Freekz in the Wings of Liberty ladder is a very good platinum player, and in the beta ladder is only down in silver. So we don't know whether it's just something with the beta ladder or what the deal is, but we do have the supply depot finishing up. Freekz actually opting not to wall in quite yet. He is going to get the Marine out just a little bit sooner than his opponent, though, to deny that scouting. Oh no! In the miss! I don't know, it did... Okay, Killer did actually run down there and see that Freekz was going to throw down the expansion. First Marine for Freekz out at this point. And an orbital command on the way for Killer. Now did Freekz? Yeah, Freekz has not started his orbital command yet. So Killer's slightly ahead in that aspect. We're going to have to see if Killer throws down the early command center first, or if he opts more so for some sort of multiple rack expand out of this. Freekz, on the other hand, going for the bunker and the first command center. At this point, I would say this is almost, this is Freekz bread and butter. He loves to go for the 1cc really, really early, or the 1 racks expand really, really early. Now the question is going to be whether he decides to go bio or not out of this. I've seen him do both, but we're going to have to see what preference he decides to take in this game. The bunker is done for Freekz now, so he is well defended, and actually identical builds. Oh, even a ooh, not identical. Triple command center coming out of Killer. Very, very risky play, made very common by Liquid Tasia, but also very, very good reward when it pays off. Now, just a couple things to note. This is Alkaline Wastes. I think I called it Flats earlier, but it's Alkaline Wastes, where you have the rocks here. These are collapsible debris. They're not the destructible rocks. Double gas coming out of Freekz, as well as another racks. So 2 racks after expand, 3 gas out of this. Freekz, what do you have in store for us today? Bunker finally coming up now for Killer. Third command center is just about done. Killer did also take 2 gases of his own. So right now Freekz is ahead in gas count, but if we go ahead and look at the workers tab, Freekz actually just behind by 1 worker, not that big of a deal. Is getting his second orbital command, and actually Freekz is going to have this base up and running a little bit quicker than Killer. A little bit of the Marine battles out here in the middle of the map. Freekz juking away with that SCV, but I think the SCV is going to be lost after this one. We're going to have to see. Oh, no, he does actually decide to just come up here to this other Zelnaga tower. Freekz going to go ahead and send some Marines out here. Now, he is going to run into a brick wall with this Marine. It's going to depend upon who gets the first shot off, and we'll see here just a second. A little bit of an engagement. It looks like Freekz got the first shot, and oh no, he didn't. Freekz did not get the first shot in that battle, so that Marine lives with 3 health. A couple more Marines coming out now for Killer. Gonna go ahead and take center map control. The third command center is morphing into an orbital, so at this point, worker count's still, I would call that identical at this point, but they're not for much longer. Factory is coming out of Freekz now a little bit quicker than his opponent, so Freekz is going to have that essential siege tech up a little bit earlier. Now remember this, since this is the beta, siege tanks do come with siege mode already. You just need the tech lab to build them. And oh, Freekz going double factory, so maybe some heavy mech play. It'll be interesting to see how he actually decides to pull this off, considering his opponent is ahead of him in terms of bases right now. Hasn't actually, oh, but Freekz scanned it good. That was actually a clutch scan by Freekz, and he actually does see his opponent doing literally the same thing. Now, Widow Mines, I don't know if anybody here who is actually watching this outside of the players in the game that will more than likely watch have actually played in the beta, but Widow Mine battles are kind of fun and kind of irritating as a Protoss player. Easily handled with an observer in the army, but still kind of a pain. Now, Kihlir does scan. He does see an extra 2 Marines sitting out here. Freek's going to go ahead and take out this watchtower, giving him actually a full map control. Some Hellions coming out now for Kihlir. Now, remember, these can turn into the Hellbat mode. So, Kihlir is going to go for a mech play out of the 3 command center expand. Oh, and a little bit of lag. Sorry, it's the beta. Oh my god. More Hellions coming out. Still, we haven't seen any Widow Mines. Now, Freekz looking like he's going to go just for multiple siege tanks. Very, very good play on Freek's part. Now, also remember, condensed upgrades. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. More Marines just continuing to flood down here for Freekz. Siege tanks are finally out for Freekz. And look at that Hellbat. I think they're going to be... Yeah, I think they're going to be going for a little while on this. That 3rd command center is now floating down for Kihlir, though. Freekz, on the other hand, still not started his 3rd base at all. He does have double armory up, yet has not started the upgrades. Starport finally going down for Freekz and another factory. So right now, both of these players actually playing this pretty standard. We're getting a total of 5 factories coming out of Kihlir now. Freekz still has not ramped up his production that far. He is getting a starport, but hasn't started anything past that. Kihlir is going to be quite a ways ahead here after a while. I mean, the supply at this point doesn't necessarily tell the tale. We're looking at 86 supply of, or 88 supply of Kihlir to 70 or 67 of Freekz, but Kihlir is on an extra base. Look at that Hellbat. Okay, so we are sitting on 5. Oh, that's not going to be good for Freekz at all. We do have some Widow Mines from Freekz now coming out onto the map. If we go ahead and look at the units tab, we do have 1 Widow Mine out right now. And look at this worker disparity, 54 workers to 47. Mules definitely not making up the difference here for Freekz. Continuing just to look at the production tab, you can see where both of these players are focused on right now. A little bit of air superiority coming out of Kihlir, and really not that much Freekz can do about it at this point. So, we do see... Wow, I guess it would have helped if I would have had... Oh no, I had music enabled. Uh-oh. Apparently there's no music here. Okay, whatever. Missile turret is coming out for Freekz now, and the scan goes down for Freekz, or for Kihlir, excuse me. Seeing a lot of siege tech out. Missile turrets are on the way, and a 4th base coming out of Kihlir. 3rd base finally coming out of Freekz, and actually this is a really good placement. I like this a lot by Freekz because this is pretty defendable when you're going mech, because mech is fairly immovable. And at this point, I mean, look at this. This is something that most players would not want to attack into. 1-1 just about finished for Freekz. 2-2 on the way now for Kihlir, though. So right now Freekz is a little bit behind, but I don't know that it necessarily matters. We do have a patrol coming out here for Kihlir, making sure that nothing happens there. And oh no, the Hellions are going to see nothing. They see the SCV. They're going to get the free SCV kill, as we do see the parts flying all over the place. Oh, but the siege tank's getting a good trap on those Hellions. That's a lot of siege tanks, and actually a lot of Hellions thrown away. Freekz making sure to continue to block off that main. Siege tanks, really good against Hellions, apparently. So Freekz able to clean that up pretty easily. Freekz, at this point, I'm starting to swing back into his favor, because think about it this way. Freekz has been producing nothing but tanks for quite some time now, and now is getting Thors out. and is starting to work on this third base. What does his opponent have? His opponent has 5 siege tanks, 6 siege tanks, and a few Hellions. Freekz, on the other hand, 7 siege tanks, a couple of Thors. You know what, at this point, I give this advantage to Freekz. 2-2 is just about done now for Kihlir. Wow, I'm sorry guys, I am messing this up today, something fierce. Kihler's still able to outproduce Freekz though. We did have at some point 2 more factories go down, but this is still, oh, the big engagement in the front. Freekz, no, Freekz. Oh my god. Actually not that bad of a play by Freekz, able to take out that army. The Viking is going to come over here and take that out. Oh no. Switch. Freekz is taking out the rocks. He does need to retreat though. He's getting a little bit overextended. This is becoming a lot of siege tanks here. Ooh, switching over to the high impact payload. Taking them out. There's superiority. Will be mine, says Freekz. Freekz does sneak these units in here. Gonna do a little bit of the damage, but he's still in range of those siege tanks. If we look at that, yeah, oh, he loses 1 tank. Good move by Freekz on the other hand, though. Trying to sneak those Thors in. Does drop the mule in desperation. Does not make it. 4th base for Freekz just now coming up. Kihlir has had 1 SCV on this base for quite some time, so we can't really take into account that Kihler's been on that base for that long. Looking at it now, we do see Freekz on a full 3rd base at this point, as is Kihlir. 4th base is going to be really what defines this. We do have Freekz just continuing to macro up, sending SCVs over here to this 4th. Right now, Freekz is ahead in the base count, getting that 4th base up and running, and actually very smartly turning this into a planetary fortress instead of an orbital command. Give it a little bit of extra protection there. We do see Marines and Hellions up here to buffer the front. Thor, some siege tanks, all the pretty standard stuff coming out of Freekz at this point. And look, oh my god, 4 command centers? Is he just... wow. I'm going to be interested to see how he plays this out, because I know he's nowhere near being able to max out. Free units there from Freekz, probably a miss rally. Oh, and the Hellions is lining them up. Oh, they get 1. The planetary fortress does finish, though. Ooh, taking out quite a bit there. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how Kihlir decides to do this. I mean, like, he had a lot of money, but why waste it on command centers if you're just going to make planetaries out of them when you could have tacked down more production? At this point, I'm actually fairly certain, and Freekz getting up his 5th base as well, and just producing Marines. So the Marines are going to be the buffer in this case. Freekz opting to use that mineral for that, as opposed to using it for Hellions or something along that line, opting for the DPS of the Marines. Very good play on his part, and now we see the chess game starting to get set up in the middle of the map here. Kihlir at this point is firmly planted in the middle. I'm assuming these are all going to become planetary fortresses here soon. If they don't, I would be very, very surprised. All of those command centers just now finishing up. That's something like 10 or 11 command centers. No. Opting to turn a bunch of them into orbital commands, so at some point here he's going to sacrifice his SCVs, but the problem that I pointed out to Freekz before is actually, if you think about it in terms of a distribution diagram, at lower levels you get players who think that they can do this like they see their favorite GSL players doing, and what really ends up happening is they end up going through these cycles of, oh my god, I forgot to split, or I forgot to drop mules. Freekz actually with a pretty good concave here, able to break through, losing some units, but I don't think at this point it matters. He does get to cancel off, flying those away, and Freekz able to regain air superiority here. Very good play by him on that, finding the one weakness and pulling back out of it, making sure to kill all of those siege tanks. This position of Kihlir was just too drawn out. Freekz at 177 supply now to 121 of Kihlir. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm expecting a GG here at any point. Freekz is actually just able to push across the map, catching these siege tanks completely unsieged. Oh, come on, Freekz. You need to siege. You had everything if you would have just sieged, Freekz. And oh my god. Able to clean everything up. Freekz not really having that much left after the fact, but able to clean up that army of his opponent, using the Viking to try and target down some of those... Oh. using the Viking to target down some of those command centers. So actually, I would consider that a big folly in Kihler's play. Actually should have had either done similar to what Freekz did, in the sense that he needed to either drop some barracks and just start building, you know, very, very cheap Marines, or throw down more production in general. Freekz, I think, is just he just ended up misrallying a bunch of stuff off over into this corner. This one Marine, can he do it? Is that Billie Jean? Nope. Billie Jean couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. We do have just kind of a great Thor Marine tank rally march of 2013 coming up here, as Freekz slowly pushing his way across the map. Nothing left to defend for Kihler right now, and Freekz knows it. Freekz is going to just continue to work away at this army. Everything going in his favor right now. And the scan goes down, seeing there's not that much left. Freekz with the Thors marching across the map, and able to clean up a lot of this. Like I said, you see the energy building on here. Kihler never actually got the chance to actually sack any SCVs, but that's what that would have been for. Freekz now moving up into the production of his opponent. This is going to be the end. It does look like his opponent was getting ready to transition into some battle cruisers or something later on in this match. Landing the Vikings actually for some additional support. And Freekz is clearly in the lead, continuing just to rally units across the map, landing Vikings. Very, very good stuff by Freekz, continuing to move into his opponent's base. Never for 1 second in this game did he lose this lead that he had. At first it was a little bit shaky, considering there was some stuff that was kind of questionable on his part. But as you can see, here's kind of the folly of his opponent's early three orbital play, and Kihler taps out with the GG. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, if you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, comment below. Also, follow the information below if you want your replays casted and up on the channel, and we will see you guys next time.